Okay, so we're going to do the pre-AP chemistry electron configuration worksheet. This is actually going over the noble gas notation, which is also known as the shorthand or abbreviated notation. And we're also going to try to see which elements are represented by the electron configuration. How can we do this quickly? So again, with me I have my color coordinated periodic table, which I actually color coordinated like your periodic table at the end of your notes. So I did it this way. That way I can remember where my S's, my P's, my two S's, which is my hydrogen, alkaline metals, alkaline earth metals, and helium are your P's. Your transition metals are your D's. Boron family to the noble gas family is all your P's. And your intertransition metals, which are your F's. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the first one. The first one is actually beryllium. Beryllium on your periodic table. And I'm going to get my lovely little bean here. Beryllium is right here. I am going to do the shorthand electron configuration, meaning that I'm going to go up one energy level all the way to the right to my noble gases. And if you notice, my noble gas that we're going to be dealing with is helium. So we would put helium in brackets. Okay. Once I write it in brackets, I can go on to my next energy level, which my next energy level would be my 2. This is my S's, and beryllium would end in 2s2. Okay, how do I write that out? You're going to write it out exactly as follows. So this is what it looked like. And on your paper, all you have to do is write the same way. He 2s2. Now we want to know how many valence electrons we have. Valence electrons are depending on your last S and P sublevels. So I'm going to look here, and I notice that I have my last S says I have 2 electrons. Since there's no P following that, that means I have 2 valence electrons. Okay? All right, let's go on to the next. Aluminum is next. Aluminum is located right here. Again, I go up all the way over to my noble gas, which would be my neon. Once I finish that, I can go on to the next energy level, which would be my third energy level. My S's I have to cross over sodium, magnesium to get to aluminum, so that gives me 3s2. I'm going to read it going across just like we did before. And I'm going to end at my third energy level, my P sublevel, and there'll be 3p1. Okay, and again, how are we going to be writing this down? So neon, 3s2, 3p1. So let's write that on our paper. Again, neon, 3s2, 3p1. Now, I have my last S and P, or following P, is going to tell me how many valence electrons I have. So my last S is going to be 2, plus my last P is going to be, the following last P is 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Simple as that. All right. Go on to my next one. My next one is going to be nitrogen. Nitrogen on here is located right here. Go up and over would be helium. Once I finish helium, I can go on to my next energy level. I have to go through my second energy level, my P sub level. I have to go through lithium and beryllium. So that gives me 2S, my S sub level, I'm sorry. So 2S2. We're going to read straight across like we've been doing. I am now on my second energy level, my P sub level, and it's going to be P1, 2, and 3. So 2P3. Okay. Now, how do I write that out? So let's write it out. Helium, 2S2, 2P3. Two S2, 2P3. And again, my last S and P are going to tell me how many valence electrons I have. So my last S has 2 electrons, my last P has 3. So 3 plus 2 is 5. All right, so go on to my sodium. Sodium is located right here. I'm going to go up and all the way over to my noble gases, which would be neon. So write my neon in brackets. Once I finish that, I can go on to my next energy level, which would be my third energy level. I'm in my S sub level. It's my first one, so it's going to be 3S1. Okay, so I just put this across like here. Move this out of the way. I'm going to write it as neon 3S1. Neon in brackets 3S1. So again, that last S, that is going to tell me, that superscript is going to tell me how many valence electrons I have. And according to this, I only have 1. All right. Next is manganese. Manganese is the one that gets mixed up a lot with manganese. Manganese is actually right here. Okay, be careful with that one. Mn, manganese, I'm going to go up and over. So my noble gas is argon. Put that in brackets. I can go on to my next. It's going to be my fourth energy level. My S's, I have to go through potassium and calcium, so it'll be 4S2. Straight across to my 3D section, it'll be 3D 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 3D 5. Right there. All right, so let's write this one out. Argon, 4S2, 3D5. Now again, we're only looking at our last S and last P. So I only have an S right here, which there's no following P, so that means I only have 2 valence electrons. All right, krypton. Remember what krypton is. I hope you remember it by now. Krypton is right here, noble gas, and no, it cannot be itself. We still have to go up it's going to be argon. We're going to use argon for its noble gas configuration. I'm going to go straight across to 4, my 4th energy level. I have to go through potassium and calcium, so that's 4s2. Put it right here. I still need to go straight across here to get to krypton, so that would give me 3d10. Once I get there, I'm back to 4, but now it's 4p. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 4p6. Okay, so let's do this. Let's write it out. Argon, 4s2, 3d10, 4p6. So argon, 4s2, 3d10, 4p6. So how do I know how many valence electrons I have? Again, the last S, which I have 2, and the following last P, which I do have 1, I have 6. So 6 plus 2 is 8. All right, going on to phosphorus. And again, you can actually stop this video and do it yourself, and then keep on going to see if you just double check yourself and see if you got it right. So let me do phosphorus. Phosphorus is right here. My up and over noble gas will be neon. From neon, I can go down to 3s2. Go straight across to my 3p, 1, 2, and 3. So let me write down my 3p3. There we go. Go on to my next. I'm going to write that one out. Neon, 3s2, 3p3. How many valence electrons do I have? I have my last S is 2, my last P is 3. So 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, go on to my next one, which is zinc. Zinc is right here. I go up and over to argon. From argon, I go down to the 4s. I have to cross over 2, so that'd be 4s2. I have to cross over all of these to get to the end, and that would give me 3. Remember, you go down by 1, so 3d, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So 3d10. Okay, so remember, you have to count straight across until you get to it. All right, so let's write this out. Argon, 4s2, 3d10. How many valence electrons do I have? Last S and last P. So last S has 2. There's no P following it, so just end in 2. Okay, so there's something special about some of these transition metals, but basically most of them are going to end with 4s2. So that means they're all going to be, for right now, all going to be technically 2 valence electrons. Just FYI for future reference. All right, the next one is zirconium. Zirconium is right here. I'm going to go up and all the way over to the noble gas, which in this case is going to be krypton. From krypton, I can go down to my 5, and this is my S sublevel, so 5s2. And then I go to my 4d, 1, 2. All right, so I'm going to write this out. It's going to be krypton 5s2, 4d2. Again, how many valence electrons do I have? I end with my last S and last P. There's no P after that, so I'm left with 2. Okay. All right, so next one is going to be tungsten. Tungsten is down here. Go up and over, going to be xenon. From xenon, I go to 6s2. From 6s2, I come down to my 4. So, yeah, I have to go through all this first to get to my 4f, 14. Okay. Once I finish that, then I can come up to my D. So that would be my 5D, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So 5D, 4. Okay, so don't remember, once you get to the 6th energy level, you come down to the F's, then come back up to the D's. Be careful with that. That works for 6 and also number 7, 7th energy level. So let's write this down. So the way we're going to write this, xenon, 6s2, 4f14, 5d4. Again, same rules, last S and last P. Last S is my 2. I have no last P, so I say 2. All right. We're almost finished. We have lead. Lead is right here. Go up and over should be xenon. From xenon, I go over to my 6s2. I go down, you get an arrow here. I go down here. I go straight across because I have to get to lead over here. Straight across this, so that gives me 4F14. I come back up to this right here. That gives me 5D, and that gives me 5D10. And then I end up at 6P, 1 and 2. All right, so let's do this. Xenon 6s2, 4f14, 5d10, and 6p2. All right, so just write it out. XE 6s2, 4f14, 5d10, 6p2. So how many valence electrons do I have? I have 2 right here, my last s, so that's 2. Following my last p right here, so that gives me 2 plus 2 equals 4. Okay. All right. Radium. Radium is not to be confused with radon. Radium is down here. And I'm going to go up and all the way over to my noble gas. Radon is going to be my noble gas that I'm going to be using. And then I go down to my 7th energy level, and it's the second one on my S. Plain and simple, so I'm going to write this out. Radon in brackets, 7s and 2. And how many valence electrons? Last s and last p. Last s has 2 electrons, so just 2 valence electrons. There's no p following it, so just 2 valence electrons. All right, let's do uranium. Uranium's down here. This one's a little bit more complicated, right? Actually, no, it's not. It's actually pretty easy. So I'm right here. It should be within this energy level. I go up and all the way over, so my noble gas will be radon. 7s2. Then I can go down to my 5F, sorry. My 5F, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 5F, 4. So let's write this out. It's going to look like that. Rn 7s2 5f4. valence electrons are given off by the last S and P. I only have an S, so I'm going to put a box around that. That gives me 2 valence electrons. Since there's no P afterwards, you're going to leave it as that 2. All right, last one, Mercury. Mercury is right here on the periodic table. Go up and over, should be xenon. Once I finish xenon, I go to my 6th energy level. It's my S's. I have to complete 2 of them, so 6s2. Again, remember, we're going to go down to my 4f. Go count straight across, which would give me 4f14. All right. Then I come back up again to my D's. I have to count across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that would give me 5D10. Okay, so we're going to write this out. All right, so XE six S2 4F14 and then 5D10. All right, last S and P are going to be your valence electrons. So my last S is 2. There's no P following it, so that means I have 2 valence electrons. All right. Last but not least, let's do this. We need to find what element is being represented by this and how many valence electrons we have. So I can go through the whole entire thing, but the main thing is this. Look at the last. My last section right here is 2p5. So when I look at my periodic table, I'm looking at my 2nd energy level, my P sublevel, it's going to be number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's going to be fluorine. F. How many valence electrons do I have? Depends on the last S, which I have 2. The last P, which I have 5. So 5 plus 2 equals 7. Okay, let's go on to the next. 4s2. So 4th energy level, S sublevel, 2nd one should be calcium. So my last S and P are going to tell me my valence electrons. My last S has 2. Okay. All right. Next one. 4F4. I'm going to look at my 4F section is right here. I'm going to look at my 4th one. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Neodymium. ND. Again, my valence electrons are number 2. There's no P following it, so it'll be 2. All right, last one. There's almost the last one. 5P4. So I'm going to look at my 5th one. P 1, 2, 3, 4 beryllium. So I'm going to look for my last S and my last P. So this is my last S. My following last P is this one. So 4 plus 2 is 6. Now let's say I forgot which ones. Well, which ones gave us the valence electrons. Again, tellurium we said was 6. Now if you notice, we have the main representative groups with the letter A and a number before it. If you notice, tellurium is right here on the 6A. These numbers right before the A tell you how many valence electrons you have. So if I put down 6, that is correct because we should have 6 valence electrons. If you're looking at the periodic table on the wall, you'll only see that it's group 16. So if you cover up the 1 in front of the 16, that gives you a 6, and again, 6 valence electrons. If we're looking at our electron configuration, we're looking at the last S and the last P. Add the superscripts together, and that'll give you a number of valence electrons. So there are many ways of finding your valence electrons. Okay. Second to last, 5F13. 5F is down here. 13 would be MD, mendelium. How many valence electrons do I have? Last S has 2. There's no P afterwards, so there's going to be 2. Last but not least, number 20. 4P5. So I'm going to look at my 4th energy level, my P subsection, and the 5th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which would be bromine. So I'm going to put Br. I need to find how many valence electrons this has. So the last S, which is right here, that's 2. The following last P, which is right here, which is 5. So 5 plus 2 is 7. Let's just double check over here. Bromine is in 7A, so yes, it is 7. All right, so that is the end of this one. Thank you again for joining me. Until next time.